death, the final destination of all things. Unless you believe in an afterlife, of course. But even then, what the idea of the afterlife actually entails is open to interpretation. When it comes to the world of gaming, and in particular survival horror, life after death means the reanimation of a human corpse or the horrible mutation of a living one. That's right, people, I'm talking about zombies. Obviously, there are many games that feature the undead as antagonists, but which ones have the most putrid, the most vile, and the most brutal zombies of them all? Well, that's exactly what today's video is all about. So here's 7 games with the most brutal zombies according to Metasquad. Number 1. Dying Light. This 2015 open-world first-person survival horror game features some of the most brutal zombies in all of gaming. Naturally, the most common infected consist of biters, but then there are goons, bombers, demolishers, and the dreaded volatile. In addition to having some of the most brutal zombies around, Dying Light as a gaming experience is extremely satisfying. There's plenty of guts and gore and a wide variety of enemies to take on or avoid completely. So if you haven't had the good fortune to have played Dying Light yet, make sure you put it on your list as it's well worth it. Number 2. Days Gone. Released on PS4 in 2019 and PC in 2021, the zombies, or freakers in Days Gone, consist of more than just some unfortunate human beings. Common infected are referred to as swarmers, but bleachers, screamers, breakers, and reachers definitely give Deacon, the game's protagonist, a little bit more than a hard time. But the freaker virus also affects animals, so you'll also encounter zombie wolves, bears, ravens, and even bats. Days Gone is a masterfully crafted game and definitely features some of the most brutal zombies around. Number 3. Dead Rising. Probably the most unconventional game on this list, 2016's Dead Rising sees you take on the role of Frank West as you battle a heckin' bunch of zombies. We're talking fat zombies, knife-wielding zombies, cop zombies, construction worker zombies, cart zombies, propane tank zombies, and more. If you haven't guessed yet, Dead Rising is a lot more tongue-in-cheek than the other entries in this list. But just because the game has a good dose of humor doesn't mean that the zombies aren't brutal. Believe me when I say that some fates are worse than death. Number 4. Resident Evil. Let's be real, what list of games with the most brutal zombies would be complete without Resident Evil? Chimeras, Cerberuses, Ustanak, Nemesis, Lickers. It just isn't possible to list all of the brutal zombies and bioweapons in this world-famous survival horror franchise. There are some truly horrifying undead enemies in Resident Evil, and while the movies may leave a lot to be desired, the games are generally amazing. Personally, I think that Nemesis might be the most brutal zombie ever created. Number 5. Left 4 Dead. I admittedly played this game way too much, but to call 2008's Left 4 Dead amazing would be an understatement. Even the regular zombies in Left 4 Dead could prove to be very troublesome, but the special infected, namely smokers, hunters, and boomers, were the stuff of nightmares. Then there were tanks, which would take every single person in your squad working together in order to eliminate them. But worst of all were witches. Disturbing one of these zombies basically meant it was game over for you. Left 4 Dead is undeniably one of the best zombie games ever and definitely features some extremely brutal zombies. Number 6. Dead Space. Okay, so the necromorphs in Dead Space may not fit the typical definition of a zombie, but since they're pretty much reanimated corpses, they're like zombies on steroids. From regular garden variety slashers to hulking brutes, necromorphs are twisted corruptions of flesh that know nothing but savagery and violence. If you played any of the games in the series, you'll know the pain of the Regenerator, a rare type of necromorph that is virtually unkillable. I could go on and on about Dead Space and the many monsters you get to face, but that would take a long time. Anyway, the remake of the original Dead Space released not too long ago, so if you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend that you do. And last but certainly not least, number 7, The Last of Us. The Last of Us released all the way back in June 2013 and is undeniably a masterpiece. Not only is it complex and thought-provoking, but it also features some particularly nasty zombies. The cordyceps brain infection gives rise to various forms of infected. The most common types are runners and stalkers, but then there are clickers, bloaters, and shamblers. It's assumed that the last stage of infection is the Rat King, which is where several infected merge together to form one superorganism. There's no doubt that the zombies in The Last of Us are very unique and extremely grotesque, so they definitely more than deserve to be included on this list. You need to play The Last of Us. It's absolutely essential gaming and something that has to be experienced. And that's it. That's 7 games with the most brutal zombies, according to us at least. So what do you think of our picks? Do you agree with us, or are there games that you believe are more deserving? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you hot content on a regular basis. That's pretty much it for now. From me and the survivors here at Metasquad, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Later!